Ladies and gentlemen, KGB activities are often associated with agents and repressions. Even so, the Communist Party saw KGB as part of greater goals, including the support of the Soviet Communist Party. I will cover the functions, spheres and methods of work of the KGB, streamlined to support the Soviet occupational regime in Lithuania for 50 years. The key functions of the KGB and its key targets were to break various forms of countering the USSR and to have a network of agents, as well as control information and territory. The KGB was active in communist indoctrination both inside and outside the country, the USSR, I mean, including the exile community. The activities of the KGB include the key function of repressions. The target of this method was to make sure that the society is full of fear, lacks knowledge on how they may be punished. This was an important deterrence measure against anti-Sovietic activities. This function was forced by the Communist Party ideology. After Stalin's death, class fight was transformed into a fight with the Western ideological diversion and socially hideous environment and socially threatening persons. This is why the KGB was first of all interested in the former political prisoners, deportees, elite of the independent Lithuanian, and the church. These were the people who were associated by the KGB with independent Lithuania, with the wish to re-establish independence. After 1954, anti-Sovietic activities were diversified. If you were distributing leaflets, you would get one kind of punishment. If you were involved in organized anti-Sovietic activities, you would face greater punishment, stricter punishment. The strictness of the punishment depended on the degree of involvement in various organizations and anti-Sovietic activities. The activities of the dissidents were evaluated and demonstrated to society as criminal activities, and this is how their activities were depoliticized, discredited, and desacralified. The famous dissidents Terleckas, Ragaišis, and Petkus were
Šiais metodais KGB norėjo įtikinti visuomenę, kad valdžia baudžia žmonės,
persecuted for stealing and speculation. This is how the state wanted to show the society that these people were criminals and not political dissidents. Mental measures were especially crucial in Khrushchev's rule. On the 24th of May 1959, Khrushchev said that any crime is a way to go away from the acceptable behavior norms in the society. And this is a mental illness. So this was the way to demonstrate that the dissident was a mental patient who should be isolated. This was a measure to mask the fight with the dissidents and demonstrate that there are no political prisoners in the USSR. KGB played a key role in putting persons into mental health centers and releasing them from there. After 1954, KGB used both repression and compromission as well as propaganda and prevention measures. Manipulation and abuse through public opinion was a matter of fact. Libel, gossip, and distorted facts were used. Counter-propaganda was also used to fight the dissidents. Libel, events, gossip, and distorted facts were used in order to distort reality, publicize the facts that are distorted, and distort the reality, especially historical reality. The key themes for libel dominating in Soviet press and pro-communist newspapers of immigrants covered exiles and demonstrated them as war criminals who took part in killing Soviet officials and Jews. Moral degradation of members of organizations and chairmen of organizations, Catholic preachers were demonstrated as morally distorted and morally corrupt. Partisans were portrayed in a negative light. The real goals of anti-Soviet events were hidden and devalued as well as distorted. These measures were used to discredit the activities of exiles and dissidents. The propaganda by KGB was a contribution by KGB to the communist indoctrination aimed to spread new values and discredit anything related to resistance. A new method after Stalin's death was prevention by KGB. This was a way to demonstrate that the Soviet regime and the KGB has changed. It is important both to punish persons and to prevent them from behaving the same way in the future.